Have you ever wondered how someone can stand at the very top of Hollywood, shining brighter than anyone else, only to lose everything in a single moment? Fame is powerful, but it is also fragile. One mistake, one scandal, or one truth exposed at the wrong time can transform a Hollywood legend into a cautionary tale overnight. Today, we are diving into the stories of 7 Hollywood greats who had the world in their hands until scandals shattered everything they built. These stories are dramatic, shocking, and unforgettable. And most importantly, they show how no one, not even the biggest star in the world, is safe from the consequences of their choices. Kevin Spacey, from 2 Oscars to silence. Kevin Spacey was once considered one of the greatest actors of his generation. He had a career that many could only dream of, marked by 2 Academy Awards, countless critically acclaimed performances, and a presence that dominated both the big screen and television. With his role in House of Cards, he became a modern icon, commanding audiences with every nuanced glance, every deliberate pause, and every carefully delivered line. His skill and influence were often compared to legends like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro, actors whose work transcended entertainment and became cultural touchstones. Spacey was no longer just a performer. He was a defining figure of contemporary Hollywood. But in the late 20-teens, everything changed almost overnight. Accusations of sexual misconduct surfaced, involving multiple individuals and spanning decades of alleged behavior. The news spread rapidly, amplified by social media and round-the-clock news cycles. Within days, the public perception of Spacey shifted dramatically. The actor who had once been lauded for his talent, charm, and professionalism was suddenly viewed through the lens of controversy and suspicion. Hollywood, an industry that had celebrated him for decades, reacted with unprecedented speed. Major studios cut ties almost immediately. Projects that were nearing completion took extraordinary measures to distance themselves from him. Scenes were reshot. Entire productions were restructured. His role in House of Cards, which had made him a household name and redefined prestige television, was terminated, leaving the show to pivot without him. Other upcoming films either removed him from casts entirely or delayed releases indefinitely. The consequences were swift and brutal. In just a matter of days, Kevin Spacey went from a celebrated actor with decades of acclaim to someone virtually erased from ongoing projects and professional circles. What makes Spacey's downfall particularly remarkable is the scale and speed of the collapse. Unlike scandals that unfold slowly over time, this was a career implosion happening in real time. Every network, every production company, and nearly every influential figure in Hollywood moved decisively to sever ties, leaving no room for negotiation or recovery. Spacey, who had spent decades building a reputation based on professionalism and extraordinary skill, suddenly found that his past achievements offered little protection against the immediate consequences. The impact extended beyond professional setbacks. His public image was irrevocably altered. Interviews, profiles, and retrospectives that once celebrated his work began framing his story through the lens of the accusations. Awards committees, talk shows, and media outlets that had previously praised him shifted to a tone of caution or criticism. The Hollywood system, which had nurtured him for decades, demonstrated the harsh reality that even the most respected figures were vulnerable to rapid ostracization when controversy intersected with public opinion. Kevin Spacey's story is often cited as one of the most dramatic career collapses in modern entertainment history. It serves as a stark example of how quickly fame and influence can be undone in an era where public perception spreads instantaneously. His downfall also sparked broader conversations about accountability, the responsibilities of studios and production companies, and the complex interplay between personal behavior and professional reputation in Hollywood. Spacey's career trajectory changed almost permanently. What had once been a carefully cultivated path of artistic achievement was interrupted and, for many, ended. The rise and sudden fall of Kevin Spacey stands as a powerful reminder of the fragility of fame, the speed of modern media scrutiny, and the way Hollywood can simultaneously build and destroy a star with astonishing efficiency. It is a story of talent, success, and influence undone almost overnight, leaving a cautionary tale for generations to come. Lindsay Lohan, the fall of a teen superstar. Lindsay Lohan was not just a successful actress, she was a cultural phenomenon. In the early 2000s, she captured the hearts of audiences worldwide with films like Mean Girls, Freaky Friday, and The Parent Trap. Her performances were energetic, charming, and relatable, making her one of the most recognizable young stars of her generation. Fans admired her the way later generations would admire actors like Jennifer Lawrence or Zendaya, someone who seemed talented, approachable, and destined for long-term success. Studios and directors treated her as a leading talent, believing she had the potential to dominate Hollywood for decades. But the pressures of early fame quickly became overwhelming. Lindsay's life, once filled with promise, began to be dominated by legal troubles, public controversies, and highly scrutinized personal struggles. Court appearances, rehab stints, and media reports about erratic behavior painted a chaotic picture. In a world where image is everything, Hollywood began to see her unpredictability as a risk. Talent alone could no longer outweigh the potential complications she brought to any production. Casting directors, producers, and studios hesitated, often opting to hire someone else rather than risk delays, financial losses, or negative publicity. Lohan's story illustrates a harsh reality of Hollywood. Young stars often rise faster than they are prepared to handle, and once that momentum falters, it is incredibly difficult to recover. Each misstep, whether real or exaggerated by media, added to the perception that she was unreliable, creating a cycle that kept her from regaining the kind of roles that had initially made her famous. Despite her efforts to stage comebacks with appearances in independent films, guest roles, and reality projects, the level of global stardom she once enjoyed remained out of reach. What makes Lindsay Lohan's experience particularly striking is the combination of immense early success and the very public nature of her struggles. Unlike actors who can quietly take a step back and return to their craft, her personal life was a constant topic for tabloids, social media, and entertainment news. Every setback was magnified, creating a narrative that often overshadowed her talent. Today, she continues to work in the industry, taking on projects, appearing in interviews, and attempting to rebuild her public image. Yet, her story remains a cautionary tale. It demonstrates how quickly Hollywood can elevate someone to superstardom, and, just as quickly, how the same industry can pull the rug out from under them when fame collides with personal challenges. Lindsay Lohan's rise and fall are emblematic of a system that rewards early success but punishes unpredictability, leaving her journey as one of the most public and still unfinished collapses in modern Hollywood history. Johnny Depp, the scandal that divided Hollywood. Johnny Depp was one of the most bankable and versatile actors of the 21st century. From Edward Scissorhands to Pirates of the Caribbean, his performances combined charisma, unpredictability, and a unique ability to completely disappear into a role. Fans adored his eclectic characters, and critics praised his range. In terms of influence and box office power, he stood alongside actors like Tom Cruise and Will Smith, commanding audiences around the globe. Depp was not just a star. He was an institution in Hollywood, capable of turning any film into a cultural event. But even stars of Depp's caliber are not immune to the harsh realities of fame. His personal life, once largely private, became the subject of intense scrutiny. Relationships, legal battles, and allegations were broadcast worldwide, creating an unprecedented level of public attention. News outlets reported every twist, social media erupted with debates, and fans formed divided camps. What might have once been contained behind closed doors was now a global spectacle, with every detail dissected and shared instantly. This level of scrutiny would test even the most resilient celebrity. The legal controversies surrounding Depp had direct consequences for his career. Studios that once competed to hire him suddenly became hesitant. Contracts were suspended, projects were put on hold, and in some cases, roles were recast entirely. Major franchises, including Fantastic Beasts, decided to part ways with him, signaling that even a beloved actor was not untouchable when public perception shifted. The combination of legal issues, negative press, and divided public opinion created a situation in which talent and past box office success were no longer enough to guarantee opportunities. Hollywood's business-minded focus on risk meant that controversy, whether proven or not, could outweigh decades of achievement. Johnny Depp's battle was not only professional, but personal. The stress, isolation, and pressure of constant media coverage took a toll on his reputation, finances, and well-being. Every court filing, interview, and viral headline influenced how studios, producers, and collaborators evaluated him. For decades, Depp had been considered one of the safest bets in the industry, capable of delivering both critical acclaim and financial success. Overnight, that perception changed. Hollywood, ever sensitive to risk and public image, decided that distancing itself was the safest option. Despite these challenges, Depp eventually achieved a significant legal victory that helped restore portions of his reputation. Court rulings in his favor offered validation, and fans rallied to celebrate what they saw as a triumph of truth over media frenzy. Yet the damage to his career was profound and lasting. While his talent remained undiminished, the positions he once held as a top-tier Hollywood star had been altered irreversibly. Studios are notoriously risk-averse, and the perception of controversy, even when disproven, can follow an actor for years. Depp's opportunities in major franchises, blockbuster films, and high-profile projects were forever changed. Johnny Depp's story is a stark reminder of the fragility of fame, even for those who seem untouchable. It shows how quickly Hollywood can pivot, how public perception can redefine careers, and how personal matters, even when ultimately resolved, can ripple across decades of achievement. For fans, his work remains iconic. For the industry, his experience became a cautionary tale about the intersection of talent, controversy, and the high stakes of public opinion. In the end, Johnny Depp demonstrates that no matter how beloved or bankable an actor may be, the world of Hollywood is unpredictable, relentless, and capable of reshaping lives with astonishing speed. Winona Ryder, a career destroyed in minutes. Winona Ryder was one of the brightest and most beloved actors of the 1990s. She captured the hearts of audiences with her performances in Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, and Little Women, combining a mix of vulnerability, intelligence, and charm that made her instantly relatable. Critics praised her depth, and fans adored her authenticity. At the time, she held the same kind of cultural and cinematic significance that someone like Emma Stone carries today, a young actress who could command attention, deliver critical acclaim, and influence the very identity of Hollywood cinema. Her presence was magnetic, and it seemed that her career would continue on a steady, ascending trajectory. But everything changed in the early 2000s. In 2001, Winona Ryder became embroiled in a widely publicized shoplifting scandal. The story dominated headlines, with tabloids highlighting every detail of the incident, dissecting her every action, and speculating on her character. The legal consequences were serious, and the media coverage was relentless. In an era before social media controlled public perception, newspapers and television shows alone had the power to shape the narrative. And in Winona's case, the story painted her as reckless and untrustworthy. It was a turning point that would affect her career for years to come. The impact on her professional life was immediate. Studios that had once competed for her involvement in major films suddenly grew hesitant. Directors reconsidered casting choices. Producers questioned whether she could be relied upon for high-profile roles. Film offers slowed to a trickle. The Hollywood system, which had celebrated her brilliance just months before, moved quickly to protect its image and distance itself from controversy. Within a matter of weeks, Winona Ryder went from being omnipresent on screens to struggling to find substantial roles. Her downfall was swift, visible, and stark, demonstrating just how fragile celebrity status can be, no matter the prior accomplishments. What makes Winona Ryder's story particularly striking is that her talent never disappeared. Even at the height of the scandal, she remained an incredibly skilled actress with the ability to deliver captivating performances. But in Hollywood, perception often outweighs ability. Public and studio opinion merged to create a barrier, limiting opportunities and controlling access to the projects that could have maintained her momentum. Compared to modern actors navigating controversies with careful public relations strategies, Ryder faced a situation where the media alone could shape the narrative, and the industry chose caution over loyalty or nuance. Despite these challenges, Winona Ryder eventually made a remarkable comeback. Her role in Stranger Things reintroduced her to a global audience, allowing new generations to see the same talent that had made her a star decades earlier. Audiences responded enthusiastically, critics praised her return, and she reclaimed her place as a respected and beloved performer. The comeback showed that while Hollywood can shut its doors suddenly, redemption is possible with persistence, skill, and the right opportunity. Winona Ryder's experience remains one of the most dramatic examples of how quickly Hollywood can turn. One incident, amplified by relentless media coverage, temporarily erased years of achievement and reshaped public perception. Yet her eventual return proves that talent, resilience, and perseverance can overcome even the most severe career disruptions. Her story serves as both a cautionary tale and an inspiring narrative of recovery, illustrating the precarious balance between public image and professional success in the entertainment industry. Robert Downey Jr., the legendary fall and comeback. Robert Downey Jr. is widely regarded as one of Hollywood's greatest comeback stories, a living example of resilience, determination, and personal transformation. Before he became the global icon known for playing Tony Stark in Iron Man and shaping the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Downey was a cautionary tale of talent overshadowed by personal struggles. In the 1990s, his life was dominated by legal issues, substance abuse, and public scandals that made studios and producers wary of working with him. No longer was he simply the brilliant actor who had delivered memorable performances in films like Chaplin or Less Than Zero. He had become someone perceived as unpredictable, unreliable, and risky. During this period, Robert Downey Jr. lost almost everything he had worked for. Directors who had once praised his talent refused to hire him, and major studios, unwilling to take the risk of production delays or negative publicity, avoided casting him entirely. Contracts were canceled, projects were recast, and opportunities that might have cemented his status as one of the top actors of his generation vanished. His situation was similar to other young stars who faced sudden career collapses after personal or legal problems like Shia LaBeouf decades later. In both cases, extraordinary talent was sidelined due to public perception and industry caution. The consequences were severe. Downey lost not only his income, but also the confidence and professional momentum that come with continuous work. At one point, it seemed as though his once promising career might never recover. The public watched as a star who had once been everywhere seemed to vanish almost overnight. Headlines chronicled arrests, rehab stints, and legal battles, painting a picture of a man trapped in cycles of self-destruction. Unlike actors whose careers are protected by studios or shielded by loyal networks, Downey had to face the consequences almost entirely on his own, while simultaneously grappling with addiction and personal turmoil. But Robert Downey Jr.'s story did not end there. Through relentless effort, self-reflection, and discipline, he began to reclaim his life and career. He committed to rehabilitation, sought guidance, and worked tirelessly to rebuild his reputation both on and off screen. Slowly, the industry took notice. Smaller projects provided opportunities to demonstrate his renewed professionalism and dedication, allowing him to rebuild trust. His perseverance eventually led to larger roles, culminating in his casting as Tony Stark, a role that would redefine not only his career, but also the landscape of blockbuster cinema. Downey's return to Hollywood was not just a comeback, it was a transformation. He went from being a symbol of failed potential to one of the highest-paid, most bankable actors in the world. His story is a testament to the idea that personal and professional failures do not have to be permanent. With commitment, focus, and strategic effort, even a collapse that seems total can become a turning point. Moreover, his journey has inspired countless other performers and individuals outside of the entertainment industry, showing that setbacks, even the most public and dramatic ones, can be overcome. Today, Robert Downey Jr. is remembered not only for his iconic roles, but also for the remarkable arc of his life. His story demonstrates that in Hollywood, as in life, losing everything does not necessarily mean the end. Talent, resilience, and a willingness to confront one's own struggles can transform failure into unparalleled success. Robert Downey Jr.'s journey stands as one of the most powerful examples of redemption in modern cinema, proving that dedication and self-discipline can turn the darkest moments into the foundation for greatness. Mel Gibson, The Cost of Controversy. Mel Gibson was once one of Hollywood's most powerful and respected figures. Known for his magnetic performances in films like Braveheart, Lethal Weapon, and Mad Max, he captivated audiences worldwide. His charisma on screen, combined with his ability to embody both action heroes and deeply emotional characters, made him one of the most versatile and bankable stars of his era. In addition to acting, Gibson proved himself as a talented director, winning acclaim for films such as Braveheart, which earned him Academy Awards for Best Director and Best Picture. For years, he was viewed with the same reverence that actors like Russell Crowe, Christian Bale, or Denzel Washington command today, a combination of respect, admiration, and box office clout. However, in the mid-2000s, Gibson's career and public image were severely impacted by a series of controversies that shocked Hollywood and audiences alike. Multiple incidents, ranging from inflammatory public statements to legal issues, placed him under intense scrutiny. Headlines around the world chronicled his behavior, and social media, news outlets, and talk shows amplified each moment of scandal. Gibson, once seen as untouchable in the industry, suddenly faced hesitation and distrust from executives, producers, and directors. The consequences were immediate and tangible. Major projects were put on hold, and roles that might have gone to him were recast. Hollywood, which had long celebrated his talent, began distancing itself. Studios became wary of the financial and reputational risk associated with working with him. Advertisers, co-stars, and collaborators all expressed caution, effectively freezing him out of mainstream opportunities. While some fans defended him, the perception of his public persona had changed dramatically, and that perception mattered more than past achievements. Even a superstar with decades of proven talent could no longer operate with the same freedom in an industry that prioritizes public image as much as ability. For years, Gibson remained a polarizing figure. Some industry insiders and audience members argued that he had been unfairly treated, insisting that talent and previous contributions to cinema should allow for forgiveness. Others believed that his actions had crossed boundaries that made a full return impossible. Unlike actors who gradually return to favor through small projects or carefully managed comebacks, Gibson's situation was complicated by the widespread media coverage of his controversies and the persistence of public memory. Despite these challenges, Gibson attempted a professional comeback as a director. Films such as Hacksaw Ridge demonstrated that he still possessed immense skill, earning critical acclaim and awards recognition. This period proved that even a severely damaged reputation could be partially rehabilitated if combined with undeniable talent and carefully chosen projects. Yet it is undeniable that the scandals permanently altered how both audiences and studios viewed him. Opportunities that once seemed guaranteed no longer appeared, and his position in Hollywood shifted from untouchable star to a figure who must constantly navigate the complexities of perception, reputation, and past controversies. Mel Gibson's story serves as a striking example of how fame, talent, and public image intersect in Hollywood. No matter how successful an actor or director becomes, public perception can dramatically change career trajectories almost overnight. Unlike the early days of Hollywood, where studios tightly controlled star images, the modern media landscape ensures that personal scandals can become widely known and difficult to overcome. Gibson's journey highlights both the fragility and resilience of celebrity. He lost trust, respect, and access, yet his skill allowed him to slowly rebuild parts of his professional life. Mel Gibson remains a symbol of both the heights and the vulnerabilities of Hollywood stardom. His career illustrates that no amount of past success can completely shield a star from controversy, yet it also proves that talent, determination, and strategic choices can allow a return, even if the shadow of scandal remains. The story of his rise, fall, and partial redemption is a compelling lesson in the balance between genius, personal conduct, and the unforgiving scrutiny of fame. Harvey Weinstein, the industry shifts forever. Harvey Weinstein was one of the most powerful figures in Hollywood for decades. As the co-founder of Miramax and later the Weinstein Company, he had an unparalleled ability to shape careers, greenlight projects, and influence the direction of the film industry itself. For years, Weinstein's name was synonymous with award season. Actors, directors, and writers competed for his attention, knowing that his backing could launch them into stardom or secure Oscar recognition. Many compared his influence to legendary producers from Hollywood's golden era and the 70s, figures who wielded tremendous creative and financial power behind the scenes. Connecting these 7 stories, what connects Kevin Spacey, Lindsay Lohan, Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder, Robert Downey Jr., Mel Gibson, and Harvey Weinstein is not just that they were famous. It is the fact that each of them walked into Hollywood with extraordinary potential and immense success, only to face scandals that stripped their careers of stability and power. Some managed to rebuild, some did not. Some received support from fans, others did not. But each story shows how unpredictable Hollywood can be. Fame is not permanent, reputation is not guaranteed, and one moment can reshape everything. When we look at actors like Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Viola Davis, or Scarlett Johansson, we see people who have managed to maintain stable careers. But these examples remind us that even the greatest names in entertainment can face downfalls that redefine their entire legacy. These 7 Hollywood greats show us something important. Success is powerful, but fragile. A career can rise for 30 years and collapse in 30 seconds. Some of these stars lost everything. Some fought to rebuild their lives, and some changed the entire industry with their fall. If you want more deep dives into the dramatic, shocking, and inspiring stories behind the world of entertainment, stay tuned. Because every celebrity has a story, but not every story ends the way the world expects.